Hi Best Buds, it's Cathy with Cathy's Garden and I'm so happy that you've joined me today. Today is hashtag cathysowinghappiness, in which we'll have our drawing for Happy Mail at the end of the video. So I'm going to set this right over here because today we're going to be making these adorable bag pockets, some Junk Journal Ephemera, maybe some Happy Mail. Maybe you could pop a gift card inside for a presentation for a gift, or even some cold hard cash would be nice inside here. So there are lots of things you can do. You could actually glue this on to your junk journal page and glue it down completely, or you could glue it on 3 sides and use it for an additional tuck, or you could pop it into a pocket or a belly band. Lots of things to do. I just think it's so pretty. I love the very shabby style that's going on. And let's look inside. So I attached mine down here, so you could do it either on top or on bottom. So it unwinds with a portfolio style closure, and we open it up and we have our glassine pocket right here where you can pop all kinds of things inside. So let's go ahead and let's close this back up, just like that, and let's start making one together. So my bag, I used this bag right here, and I picked it up, I think it was Hobby Lobby, I think. This is the brand's Sacks and Things, and it's 4 inches by 6 and a quarter. And it's a glassine bag, and so we're going to need to get one of these bags out because we're going to make one together. I just need one, Cathy. Well, it's okay, I'll put it back in later. Now we're going to be using our embosser, and we're going to be embossing our bag. We'll do that together as well. Now my papers that I used for the flap, the bottom, and the back, I got my papers from this packet right here, Tim Holtz Worn Wallpaper Scraps. Now this is where my ephemera came from, as well as my paper. Now this paper it's not like really firm cardstock, but it's not flimsy at all. So if you have a paper pad, you could use a piece from a paper pad, because there's, it looks like this on the back. It's not double-sided. And I wouldn't choose the real flimsy paper out of the paper pad, maybe something a little more sturdy. And you could do that, or you could print a digital on maybe a lightweight cardstock, or you could print it on heavier copyweight paper and then back it with another piece of paper. You could do that. So you do not have to use the Tim Holtz Worn Wallpaper Scraps, but I have them and I thought, oh, I'm going to use these. This will be really pretty. So the first thing that I think we should do is we should bring in the embosser. So I have this one right here. And I have my embossing folder, and it looks like this. It has nothing. I'm sorry. This is all that I have. And I'm going to pop my glassine bag right in between the 2 pieces. My little folder here. Pop it right in there like that. Now I'm going to set my little embosser up, and then we're going to run it through together. All right, so I've got it all set up, and let's go ahead and let's crank it through. It's coming out the other end, and I'm actually going to go back the other way, bring it back towards me. Whoops. Just like that. And then we're going to remove and take out our little folder, our embossing folder. I'm going to set the machine down. Let's look inside and see how it turned out. Oh, it is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, so the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to bring in my sponge with my frayed burlap. And I'm going to lightly go around like this over the top, and it catches the raised portion of our embossing little decoration, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And it makes it pop. Look how lovely that looks. Now let's do this one. I thought we could maybe do two together today. So I'm just going lightly. I'm not pushing hard at all. Just going light. That's gorgeous. Now I'm actually going to kind of ink up my edges because that's just me. I like the way that looks. And I'm going to, don't need to do the back, no. Because, now actually I did the back on this one. No, I did not. Okay, good. I couldn't quite see where the opening was. All right. So that's done that way. The next thing that I want to do is I want to bring in my papers, and I've got to select what ones I want to use. Now I'm going to tell you what size these are. Does it actually say on here? Yes, the sheets are 5 inches by 8 inches is what it says. So 5 by 8 is what we're going to need. And you can see it's a little big, but this strip right here, that's what we're going to use for the bottom. So we're not, there's very little if any waste on this. And I like that in a project as well. I'm over here trying to remove the fussy cuts so they don't all spill on the floor to get to the papers. Now, we made one in these colors, so how about if we've got to select flowers that go with it too. So let's see here. Let's go through these quickly and see what. This one's very pretty. I like this one a lot. So how about if we pull that one out? And I really like this one too. This one's nice. Do they have a blue one? Ooh, that's close to that one though. There's a greenish blue one. Okay, let's go with these two because they're different. Well, no, they're not. Here, this is a blue one, Cathy. It's right in front of you. Okay, so let's choose those two. All right, so we've got that. Let me put that over there. Now we need to pick our flower to go with them. So I'm going to lay these just like this, and I'm going to bring in our flowers. And this is exactly what you would be doing too if you had a piece of digital page, or if you had a, well, that's exactly the flower. That's nice. I think we might want to do that. Is there an exact flower over here? Maybe that is that flower. Oh my goodness. This is smaller. Okay, so I also need to look at something else. I need to look at my bag, and I need to say, is that too big? Well, that's real big, but I don't think it's too big. Now this one would allow me to have maybe a label down here. So I think I'm going to choose the smaller one. Now do I want this one on here? Well, that would be really pretty. All right, I think we've done it, although I'm looking at this. I'm thinking, oh, that's really nice too. No, I'm going to stick with these two. So I've got our fussy cut, and I'm going to pop that back over there. Bring in our bags. Okay, the next thing that I did, let me get this off of here, is I took my bag, and you know, it opens up like this, and it has a taller part on the back of the bag. It's a little taller, and then it has the opening. So this is what I'm considering the back, the taller portion of the bag. I'm considering to be the back. And I'm going to turn my paper upside down, so the white, or maybe you have coffee dyed, whatever you have, but this decoration is going to come down and be the flap. Okay, so that's what you want. Whatever you want to show for your decoration for the flap needs to be underneath. Okay, so we're going to glue this down like this. So I'm actually going to glue mine down before I cut. I'm going to cut after I glue. I find it easier. You do it the way you like to do it. I'm using my art glitter glue, and I'm going to apply my glue around my edges of my glassine bag, and then I'm going to add a little bit in the center like this, and then I'm going to pop it right on just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of press it down to smooth it out. I don't want to just rub it, so I'm just lightly tapping it down. I kind of rubbed it when I did my example and it puckered, and so then I had to try to take it off and redo it. So that's why I'm just patting it up and down. I'm going to do the exact same thing to this one. Applying my glue to what I've deemed the back of the bag, the taller side of the bag, and adding my glue, which is art glitter glue, directly onto my bag like this. And then I'm going to set it at a corner of my paper like this. And then I'm going to just pat it like that. Okay, now I'm going to grab my ruler, and I'm grabbing my ruler. Now, I don't know, this bag, it's got some puckers in it right here. I think when it ran through the machine, it kind of pleated it right there. So I don't know if you can tell, but I'll line this up. This bag kind of veers off like this, so it's not like totally straight. This one's much better. This one's straighter. This one kind of veers. So I'm going to use my ruler. It's going to help me kind of decide how I'm going to cut this. It's okay if it's crooked. It's for, you know, this is not precise. It's all right if it's a little crooked. There, see, it's a little crooked. I think we'll be able to work that out. And I'm going to line this one up as well. So there we go. It's a little farther there. Okay, maybe something like that. Now let's bring in our scissors and let's cut. So when I turn my scissors kind of outward, it's going to help me not accidentally cut open my bag, because that would not be good. You don't want to cut your bag open. And then I'm going to fold this up like that. And I can see that right here I need to trim this, or maybe I'm going to leave it. I don't know. I'm going to leave it for now. Save this piece. This is your piece you're going to have from right down there on the bottom. So pick this up, and I'm going to, there we go, cut this. I'm not cutting it right close to the bag yet. I'm going to see how that works out. Saving my piece. It goes right on the bottom. So this is where your inking can be your friend, because when you have little pieces right here, sometimes you don't need to trim it. You can just ink it, and it will all blend in once you get everything situated and decorated, and it usually works out well. So I'm just coloring, because it was all white and I didn't coffee dye it or anything like that. All right, and I'm going to do this side as well. All right, now let's do this one, and inking right there on the side, and there we got a little overhang right there. You see that overhang right there? I'm just going to ink it up And it kind of just blends in. Now, if you look really, really carefully, yes, you can see it, but we're just, we're just having fun. We're not getting a magnifying glass and examining everything. So a little bit of ink on the back, like this. Okay, and I'm going to leave my ink here because we're going to need it again for the bottom. Now let's go ahead and make our flap. So let's look at this one very quickly here. And you can see I left a little bit of space. You actually could come down right at the edge. And the reason why you could come down to the edge of the bag is because there's enough space here that you can get things in and out of. My flap really does kind of, it just goes over about, it goes over about a ½ inch. Comes down about a ½ inch. You don't want it to come down too awful far because then you won't have much room to do your decorating and to show off your beautiful embossing. So with that said, I'm going to use my ruler to help me fold this down. And I'm going to place my ruler right there on the edge, maybe just a tad past the edge. Well, if I do that, I might accidentally fold it crooked. I don't want to fold it crooked, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this edge on a line, and then I'm going to judge which line do I want to fold it on. If I fold it on this line, I hope it comes down. Yep, we're going to have to do that. We're just going to live large. We're going to fold it on this dotted line. So what is that? That's 1.5 inches. So 1.5 inches down. Okay. All right. Hopefully it's going to cover. Oh yeah, it covers it just fine. 1.5 inches down, guys. If you're using the same size bag and all that good stuff. 1.5 inches down. So I'm going to line this on a grid mark, and we're going to fold it down 1.5 inches. And the ruler just helps me fold it straight. That's the only thing. I'm just using it to help me. All right, so we've got that going on. The next thing is I've got my little corner rounder, and I'm just going to nip off the edges here. So getting my edges on my ends, my corners, not their edges, rounded. Okay, so now we're looking like this. I'm going to bring in my ink, and I'm going to ink right there where I folded it. I'm going to ink this right where I folded it. All right, so now we look just like that. Gorgeous, different, but gorgeous. Same, similar. So we've got our little strips here. So, of course, this pattern goes with this strip, and we're going to pop that right on, right down there. Now, I am going to use my ink, and I am going to ink the top. I can ink the bottom and the sides once I get it glued on. And I'm going to get my art glitter glue, and I'm going to apply. I'm going to actually mark how far I need to apply my glue. I need to stop putting my glue on about right there. So getting my glue, and I'm going to add it on. Oops. Just like this. And then I'm going to lay my strip right on top of my glassine bag, pressing it down. Okay. And then I'm going to trim it off like that. And this is what you have left over out of the paper. You do have a little tiny scrap, but that's not much. So let's see. I think this is nice, this side. I like this side better. So I'm going to mark right here. Stop with the glue right there. That way you don't have all that glue oozing out and you have to wipe it up. Although I might still have to wipe glue up. You never know, but it helps. It helps me know. Now I'm going to place it down like this. All right. There we go. We got that part done. Let's trim it off. Okay. And I don't think I inked that. I can tell I didn't ink it, so I'm just gonna ink it like that. Just to give it a little color. And I'm gonna go ahead and ink this. All right, so now we've got it looking like this. Let's go ahead. I need to grab, which I did not get, some labels, some kind of label. And I'm thinking I'd like these chapter 1 paper labels. I don't know, I just grabbed those two out of my label box here. And let's get our pieces of ephemera. Oh goodness, I can't seem to pick them up. I've got to punch out some of my ephemera. Hasn't been cleaned up yet, so I need to take and remove that. Okay, see if I can get that to come off without tearing or anything like that. Okay, I've got it all. Alrighty, so now let's look and see what looks good with what. Oh, I'm thinking this looks good with this because it's green, and that would be really pretty with that. I think I like that like that. And this one, I don't think that's the one for that. Let's see. I do have a blue one, I think, in here. It's like this. Well, that's kind of sweet. It's different. A very different label. I don't know, we're just trying to see. I also like this one right here. Maybe something like that. I like that shape. I think it's this shape that, you know, this had that kind of shape, but then it was more like a square, and I needed more of a rectangle because this is already kind of a circle type shape, the flower, the fussy cut. All right, so we've got that. Now let's go ahead. This one's already inked. I want to go ahead and ink a little bit of my flower, just to make it go and blend with the rest of the project, and adding just a little bit of color on here like this. Now this label doesn't have any inking, so I'll get this on here. Okay, now you know how I like to, let's look at this again. I had it kind of like, I'm not exactly sure how I had it, but I like, I didn't even try it down here. No, I want it up here. Something like that. And what I want to do is I want to glue down my label, or glue on my label onto my fussy cut before I get it on my piece of ephemera. And the reason is because now I can pick it up and I only have one thing that I have to place and get exactly how I want it, and not two. So the less I have to worry about getting straight and exactly where I want it, the better it is, at least for me. So let's get this on here where we want it. I'm just lining it up on my grid just to kind of, I want my label to be straight. I don't want it to be cattywampus to the world. Once again, I'm just going up and down and up and down to get that to attach. Oh, I absolutely love that green one. Let's see if we're going to love this blue one just as much. So I think maybe something like that. Okay. So I'm just looking to see about where I need to add a little bit of glue. You don't need much. You just need enough to grab a hold. No, that's not really what I want. That's not bad. To grab a hold so that you have one piece now that you're adding your glue to and you're needing to place onto your piece of ephemera. Okay, now turning it around and placing it, lining it up, placing it, I think about right here. Yeah, I think I like that. All right, so now we've got our decorations on. Oh, they're lovely. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring in a little bit of Crinkled Sari Silk, and this is from my Scrap Cabin shop. And there is, we're just bringing in some colors to see, there is a link down below that you are able to use so you too can grab yourself some of this gorgeous Crinkled Sari Silk. I'm looking for a peach, and I don't think I have a peach. I have this. That might be it, right guys? I like that. Do I want this, or do I want something like this? Totally different. No, I don't have a yellow. I don't have a yellow. I don't know why I don't have a yellow, but I don't have yellow. Ooh, that's it right there. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to bring my glue gun. Now, people have asked me, it's a Sure Bonder, it's a trademark, it is high temp, and it comes with this tip. My tip, look, it's, yikes, my tip is, I need time to get a new glue gun. My tip is kind of getting icky. All right, so let's get this on. Now, where I want to place this is I'm going to place my crinkled seam binding, right here at the top. So finding my end, and because it's already crinkled, it is easy to apply. Now I'm using hot glue because it allows me to just keep going, guys. I don't have to worry about it. Did it get stuck? Is it going to move? It's not dry yet. I don't have to worry about any of that. I can just keep going. So I've got my end. Whoops, it all fell on the floor here. Let me pick it up. And we're going to add a little bit of glue, whether it's fabric tack or your art glitter glue will do it as well. Glue on your crinkled seam binding as well. So use your glue of your choice and lay it down, and then just barely push it. Just barely. It doesn't take much. You just need that little bit of a scrunch. Okay, so we're just going to go all the way across the top of the flap. So there we are, and a little bit more right here, and just push it just like that. All right, very nice. Now we're going to trim it off. So give it a little trim here. I'm going to trim it off right here too. Then I'm going to place a little bit at the bottom. So our top and our bottom, going to be similar with the crinkled seam binding. And just pushing that on like that. Pushing it on like this. There we go. It's not hard at all. It's really quite easy the glue allows it to just glide. All right, so we've got that all in place. That looks wonderful. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. Now, let's see, what color is this? This one's champagne. That's what this color is called. And this one is called Rose Petal. How appropriate is that? Rose Petal. Now we've got to put it on our one that has a rose, finding the end, and then doing the exact same thing that I did with this one right here. So I'm going to get this on, and then we'll continue with our portfolio closure. All right, so now we're ready to put on our portfolio closures. I have my 1-inch hole punch. Actually, it's not really 1 inch, is it? It's more like 3/4 of an inch hole punch. It doesn't say 1 inch or anything on it. It's a small one. And I have some cardstock, and you're going to need to punch out 2 of these for each for each top. So you're going to have it like this. So you've got 2. It's not really strong enough yet. So I took my glue and I applied some glue onto one side of my circle, and then I popped on my other one and I pushed it down, and then I allowed this to dry. And you need it to dry because we're going to be popping a hole in it, and so it's much easier to do if it's completely dry. So you need 2 together for this and 2 together for this on each one of these like that. Then you're going to need 2 more here and 2 more here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes for each one. So here we need an extra one, and we need an extra one. Okay, there we go. Now what you'll want to do is you'll want to get some brads. You see the little brads right there in my dish. And you'll need a brad for this one and a brad for this one. So 2 brads for each of your bag pockets. I have my little tiny hole punch, and I'm going to punch a hole, you know, the best I can in the middle. It's very hard to see to get it in the middle. And that you see why it needs to be dry, right? And then you take your pencil, you put the 2 together. So this one's my double, and this one is my single. And I'm going to pop a hole here in this one. I've never tried to do it all together, mainly because this one's thicker. So this one goes on the bottom and this goes on the top. You take your brad, and you need a brad with a head that's not going to fall through your hole. Okay, open it up just like this. That's for this one. And we'll do the exact same thing here. So this is your double one, the 2 that you've glued together. You're going to put a hole, well, get it in the machine easier, get it in the hole, put a hole in the center, that's what I'm trying to say. Then I'm going to mark it about right there. And then we're going to pop another hole in that one. Then we're going to put, I made a mark of the pencil got away from me. And I also see that it doesn't look like it's inked much. I ink mine. So the double one, the single one on the bottom. Put your brad through, open it up, just like that, and that's for this one. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the exact same thing over here. All right, so now it's time to get our portfolio closures attached to our bag. So I'm using my grid, and I can see that I really want to add it about right here. I'm putting a little dot to show where I want to glue my brad down, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Put a little dot just so they're not, you know, out of whack. You take your glue. Now I'm using hot glue. You can use whatever glue you wish. Now if you're not using hot glue, then you will need to wait and let these dry before you attach your baker's twine or string or whatever it is, ribbon that you want, because you will move it and then it will be, you know, not good. So you definitely want to make sure you wait and let your glue dry before you add your string. But because I've got the hot glue, once I get it on there, it's definitely glued on and I don't have to worry about it moving on me. So I can show you your next step, and that is you're going to need some type of twine. Now, I've got some real cute little baker's twine here. I've got pink for this one and blue for this one. Now on this one, after I did it, I thought, well, why did I put it down there? I think I want to put my closure, like when you undo it, I think I want it up here. I have no idea why I put it down there. So you'll need to take your thread, baker's twine, ribbon. You're going to place it through, and you're going between those two discs. Remember, between the two circles, we did the double and the single, and we put them together with the brad. That's what you're going in between. Now I always like to tie my knot in the direction in which I'm going to be pulling my thread. So I'm going to be pulling my thread, baker's twine, string, whatever it is, up to my next portfolio circle. So I'm going to tie and make my knot at the top, or right there. It's upside down right now, but it would be at the top. And then I'm going to take it, I'm going to go between the two circles. Once you do it the first time, after that it's easier to get it in there. And I usually only go around once. And then I'm going to, I definitely like it on the top better because it allows you to have this string hang down, which is actually another pretty little element. So let's get this going the right way. That's a really pretty element right there. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to add my pink, and I'm putting it upside down because it just helps me get it tied in the direction I want it to go. Give myself enough string, baker's twine, to tie with. If I don't, then I just fumble with it too much. So I've learned to allow a little bit to help me tie. So I've got that tied, and we're just going to snip it off because you've tied it in a knot. You're going to pull it in the direction in which you want it to go. Right here, around and around. And I always tie my baker's twine because they're two pieces of thread that make that pretty color, and they will untwist themselves. They truly will. You could also put a little something on it, but not too much, because this is a glassine bag, and really the only thing that's keeping it from curling is your paper. So you need to think about that if you are wanting to put some kind of dangle on there. Aren't they pretty? Oh my goodness, I think that would be a great addition to a junk journal. And I actually think this one's my favorite. Yeah, I think the contrast is really pretty. Yeah, I really love them. I hope you're loving them too. So let's have our drawing for Happy Mail. So what is this all about? It's you helping me spread happiness through simple acts of kindness. Letting someone in line at the grocery store because you have 20 items and they only have one. Letting someone in line of traffic. I love doing this. I love receiving it. Do be careful though. Please only let one person in. If you don't, you're going to make the other people angry, and that's not spreading happiness. So if you'd like to enter into the drawing for Happy Mail, what you need to do is you need to go to the comments and you need to tell me your act of kindness towards another person. We don't know what people are going through. Things are getting kind of rough for some people out there, and sometimes just a simple act of kindness towards them will give them enough to just keep going. We need to keep going, you guys. So tell me your act of kindness in this, the most current Cathy Sewing Happiness video. If you don't want to tell us your act of kindness, that's okay. You must type in spreading happiness, and that will be your entry words to get into the drawing. If you enter into this week, you need to check back next week, because that's when your name is going to be in that fishbowl. And maybe you could be pulled out to win Happy Mail. In the comments, please don't say who has won Happy Mail. This is what happens. They go to the comments, they see that they've won, they don't watch the video, and they don't give me their address because they're too excited. They've won Happy Mail. They know they've won Happy Mail, but I don't have their address, so they're not going to get it. And then they get a little, where's my Happy Mail? Well, where's your address? I need your address, guys. I don't have the ability to know where your address is. So, who has won Happy Mail this week? Let's find out who has won this week. The winner is Vicki Harrison. Vicki, you've won Happy Mail this week from me to you as my way of paying it forward. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll see you there, guys. Bye now.